Hi, this is Terri. Welcome back to my channel. I have been told that because it's hot and we've just locked everything up here in the office in order to record this, that the clock is ticking and we're going to have to speed through today's topic, which is all about books. Ray, do you love books?
I do indeed.
I think we both have book problems. We have container problems, although some would not say that they're actual problems.
I do not have a book problem because I have not broken my bookshelf. There we go.
It's a little bendy.
Yeah, but that was from when I had 2 layers of books and then more on top.
Yeah.
Now I've trimmed it down a bit.
Yeah, I think you and I would love to live someplace where we could have rooms of just bookcases where all of the books could be single rowed, and so you could see them all.
Yeah, no, that's called a library.
Yeah, I think we'd like a library. So, but before I get into other people's books and my next book, I'm super excited that Piloting Your Life won its first gold, and it's going to be the only gold award because I am not submitting for any more awards. I really did not know what a racket the whole book award industry is. So you pay to submit your books. I paid for multiple categories in order, hoping that, it's kind of like roulette. You put a whole bunch of them down and something will hit. So this is the IPPY Living Award, in the Evergreen category for health and wellness. Piloting Your Life won gold, and I am pretty dang excited. And now I've got to go do social media to let people know. Because I can honestly say that I don't think with any of the other awards, I've received a couple silver awards. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description on the various different awards that the book has won. At least I can say I'm a multi-award winning author, but I don't think it sold any books. My hope was that by winning these awards that somehow, the book would gain credibility and that somehow more people would be interested in buying the book, but nope, I don't think so. And I have to go back and look to see if I've spent somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 on book awards. I probably should have been spending that on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Amazon ads, or just buying more books to be able to bump up my numbers on Amazon. But you live and you learn, which brings me to book number 2. The next book I talked about doing was Piloting to Power. So Piloting Your Life is about us as women over the age of 40 and really kind of reclaiming our lives and our agency. And Piloting to Power was going to be the next tier, claiming our power in our communities, in our society, and in our world so that we can really design and live in the life, design and create the life that we want to live and affect the change that we want to affect. And I think I've mentioned this before, but my friend Candace challenged me to write a fiction book instead of a nonfiction book. And while that seemed terrifying, it's really piqued my interest. But I kind of need some help with this. I was talking to my writing coach and editor on Wednesday, and we were talking through, it's like, what genre would this book be in? Now, the idea that I have here is, let's say it's set in the year 2137, where race is no longer an issue, gender is no longer an issue, and we are pretty close to living in, the ideal society. And so what I have to do is actually create this ideal society. And since the books I like to read are about people and learning about people and falling in love or really hating certain characters and understanding that understanding the world that they live in, then I was thinking, like, how do I create that and put this vision out there? And so I thought it would be really fun to have a journalist as the main character or protagonist, and that person is interacting with and learning from and speaking to all sorts of different people who are, potentially experts in their field or experiencing something in whether it's education or politics or being parents or, all aspects of life. And somehow weaving these stories together. So some of the research that I have to do, or that I want to do, is to go back and read books that have alternate worlds, and and alternate perspectives. So how do authors weave these things together? I'll go back and I'll reread Night Circus, which is one of my favorite books, and one of your favorite books. Definitely. Because it's from multiple perspectives, and Erin Morgenstern has created this fantastical world, and this, I think it's in the 18, I think it's got years that are in there, but I want mine to be in the future, but I don't want it to be sci-fi. I don't want it to be futuristic. It's not going to be about space, as much as I love the Ender's Game and the Ender's Shadow series. It's not going to be a futuristic thing like that. I kind of want to just pick us up as better human beings and move us forward so that we have distance from where we are today, and have it be a very believable world that would be inspiring and provide hope and provide some ideas on what we can strive for moving forward, but through some sort of fiction. And Katie was talking about that there are certain genres of books and there are certain genre conventions, and so I've got to research those to figure out which genre to tie into. Ray, do you know anything about genres of books?
I don't really pay attention to genres. I just read or write whatever I feel like reading or writing.
Yeah.
I guess that matches the rest of me. Labels who?
Exactly. But the thing is that in order to sell a book, you have to understand who your target market is. And you have to, in order to do that, you have to understand, the genre and who would read this genre of book to be able to effectively target that market, and then also write something that would be attractive to others to read. I think I'm going to end up writing for me first and foremost, largely because I love to read and I love to learn. I'm thinking about one of my favorite books is The Gentleman of Moscow. And what's really interesting about that book, if you haven't read it, highly recommend it. It's that author's second book. I think the first one was Rules of Civility, which I also really liked. But the main character is basically stuck in a hotel. So his world is very, very small. And I'll go back and reread that just to see how that all plays out. But I think it's all from his perspective. I don't think it goes from multiple perspectives. But I've never imagined myself as a fiction writer, and now I have to learn how to be a fiction writer. The point of having it from a journalist perspective and then having multiple stories in there will allow me to kind of continue to write the way that I write. Just do it, not have to deviate too far from something that I'm somewhat comfortable with. So what I want to know from those of you who are watching, and I'm really, really curious, it's like, first of all, do you read? And if you do read, what do you like to read? Do you like to read, do you have to have romance? Do you hate having romance? Do you like nonfiction? Do you like fiction? Do you read both? Would you read something that is positioned in the future if it didn't feel too sci-fi, fantasy, futuristic, or would that be okay with you? I'm not comfortable with making it too sci-fi-ish, so I don't think I want to write that. I'm just kind of curious. How do you find new books? Do you, is it Goodreads? Is it from your friends? Do you just go through and just kind of look at the covers? Do you only read paperback or hardbound, or do you only read on like a Kindle or a Nook or some other ebook format? So drop me a line. I would absolutely love to hear from you, because if you're taking time to watch this, you're curious as to what I have to say, I'm assuming, and therefore I would like to know, what it is you're thinking about all of this. So either send me an email, pilotingyourlife@gmail.com, or, if you have my number, call me, text me, send me a voice message. If you want to just record a voice message, just send it to me via email, Just, or if you want to say, hey, I just want to talk about it, because I can do that as part of my research, just send me a note. We'll schedule a time, and then we can talk about it, and I can continue to investigate kind of who my target audience, who my ideal reader is on this book, and is there actually a market for it? Because that's the other thing. She also has me kind of being curious about the world. Like, if there's a situation and it's not ideal, what would make it ideal? Start asking the questions, what if? So I'm gonna have to, that one's kind of hard, but I'll be working on that. So again, thank you for your input. Thank you in advance for your input on this. I'm really curious to hear what you have to say. You can also just drop it in the comments. Be more than happy to read the comments there too. So you make up stuff all the time, Ray. I'm totally impressed by
I make up stuff.
the fiction. You write fiction. I don't really
create things. It's not making stuff up. That sounds too childish. Because it's actually creating.
So maybe if I shifted my perspective to have it be creating, that might be easy. That might be easier.
Yeah, you're just creating things.
Okay, I might be able to do that. So Ray is tapping their watch. I saw that out of the corner of my eye.
Technically, I'm not tapping my watch because I'm using my right hand and my watch is on my right wrist. So that'd be kind of hard to tap my watch with the same hand.
Yeah, so anyway, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you think this might be of interest to somebody else in your life who reads and might be able to provide me with some input as to what they like, where they get their books, etc., what they hate. You can also let me know what you absolutely hate in a book. Go ahead and share this video with them, because I'd love to get as many data points as possible as I'm pursuing this somewhat terrifying adventure of book number 2. And so with that, I guess it's back to work for me right after this, and we definitely have to find a way to cool down this room. So let go of perfection, take some risks, and above all else, have some fun.